Hi everyone, it's your girl Robin Shockley with Focus Forward Robin on the go. You never know where I'm going to be. I'm here in Bowling Springs, South Carolina tonight, and I'm here with the amazing guy, Mr. Coach Amuls. He's also known as Tony. He's also known as Candy.
DJ Candy.
DJ Candy. This guy is pretty phenomenal. He's been all around. He has been in the industry of music. If you look behind me, this is his podcast. We are in his podcast room right now, and I've got a special interview that is coming up with him right now, and we are going to talk about some amazing things that he's doing in the community. We're not talking about music tonight, even though I'm a lover of music, and so are you.
I do love music.
Yes. But I want you to tell us a little bit first before we dig into what this message is about, because we are on the Voice of Vision and Truth podcast. This is a podcast. It's not about business. It's all about awareness. It's all about sharing your truth and utilizing your voice to speak it. Okay, so tonight I want you to tell us a little bit, Tony, because that's who I know him as. Tell us a little bit about who you are and what your mission is.
All right, so let me give you guys a background real quick on who I was. I was DJ Candy of Convict Music, traveling the world with Akon's artist, DJing on the road for many, many years, I think 11 years. I traveled with Convict Music. I also DJed for Ray Lavender and some other celebrities. At that time, I got a job at the radio station in Charlotte, North Carolina on 103.3, probably why you guys can hear the radio voice. So a lot of people knew me as DJ Candy of 103.3 FM in Charlotte, North Carolina. After a long career, I decided I was going to be a father, and at the age, I think it was 37.
Wait a minute, how old are you?
I'm 41 now. We should tell people that. But anyways.
Hey, I'm proud of my age. I'm 53, y'all.
But at 41, I have a child, and so I wanted to be a parent. Mm-hmm. And so I settled down and began being a parent. The relationship kind of didn't work out because the way social media and life is, our lives change, and we can go different directions. Yeah. But that doesn't mean parenting ends. So, unfortunately, some of the laws in the judicial system in many of the states give most of the rights to mothers, which I think independent women are great. But fathers matter so much that I decided that I would advocate for fathers. I joined the fathers' rights movement at that time. We have about 800,000 followers on that page, and it reaches about 50 million people every 90 days. After about a year of that, I realized that mothers were just as affected by it. So a lot of women go through the family court struggles as well. And being overly concerned, you can look overly troubled.
Wow.
So being mislabeled can almost take away your life. Because a lot of people, they'll say my purpose in life is God, or my purpose in life is my children, or they just set goals and their life is about goals. Mine, I had fortunately been able to attain those financial goals and attain those success goals, and now I wanted to be a parent. That's something I never really got to enjoy being as a young entrepreneur. And so here I am advocating for parents, and back here you guys are on my set, Amuls Vision, and I reach about 1.2 million people annually. And we advocate for legislative change, and my vision is that we can come to a 50-50 presumption. We can get some judicial reform, which is going to help laws change, Robin, and it's going to make it easier to be a parent.
Well, let's back up before you get ahead, because I got so many questions to ask you, because I'm not a politics person, so you're going to educate me. But I will say, you are taking the trauma and making it a triumph. And that, because with you being a parent now, like you said, it just didn't work out. So there was a reason why you started advocating for fathers, particularly.
Right.
And now you're not just advocating for fathers, you're advocating for the family, for unity as a whole. So don't get this mistaken, because Tony is a sweet guy. I've gotten to know him a little bit, and he has a tender heart. He has a caring heart to care for everyone, for all relationships. And of course, he's going to want relationships to work out. But sometimes, like you said, things just don't work out. And so there are situations that happens in the lives of relationships between the single dad and the single mom that just didn't work out anymore. And there's conflict, there's bitterness, and there's problems where you want to be like the mediator. You're like standing in the gap on behalf of the fathers because you feel like maybe they get the raw end of the deal sometimes, or how does that work?
I guess being able, they say the top is lonely.
Okay.
And I want to agree, whether it was Kanye West or Jay-Z or whoever said this, the top is lonely because you are on your own. And so making it successful in a financial world doesn't mean you're so successful in a spiritual world or other meanings. And like I said, both moms and dads matter. My goal was for my son to have a good future. My vision is that both parents matter. It's not a mom issue. It's not a dad issue. But I started out with the fathers.
Okay.
Because I thought that there was a social injustice for fathers. And maybe it is 60% or 40%. But like I said...
Well, let's be real, okay? Let's just real talk right now. With a lot of the... Because I have friends that are men, and I have friends that are women, and they have children. So I advocate for everybody. Y'all know me. I'm all about being an advocate for everyone. And I have, whether I might agree with you or not agree with you, I'm still going to give everybody a platform to be able to share their piece. But let's just be real. There are a lot of women, speaking on the behalf of the men, there are a lot of women that want to mooch. They want to take advantage of whatever they can do to get that money. But then there's also the men that will not rise up to the occasion to take care of the necessary needs of not the woman, but the children. So let's talk about that.
So there's a slogan that didn't come around until I guess 15, 20 years ago. They started using baby mama. The word for women was replaced with baby mama if you had a child with somebody, and that's just a horrible word. And so women came up with baby father, baby daddy. So now we've got these terminologies as that's my baby daddy. It's not the father of my child. So a lot of fathers back, I'd say in the 80s and 90s and even the early 2000s were put on child support. And so a large portion of their paycheck was taken out and given to child support. And it still continues on, but once they're on child support, they even get more bitter. I mean, whether we want to say it exists or not, the words do exist. Baby daddy, baby mama. Baby daddy can be really upset if you want to call him baby daddy or father once he's on child support, because you're not always guaranteed that salary. You're not always guaranteed that job. So one time you may be doing good and maybe not. But now you got the threat of arrest and jail and losing your driver's license, your real estate license. And now it's even women too. But like I said, it's just been an issue of the slogan has been, that's a deadbeat. But what I found is that there's a lot of men and a lot of women that have just been beaten dead. And it's a system that was designed to supposedly seek the best interest of the children, but what it has done has actually been the farthest thing from the truth, the farthest thing from the best interest. Eliminating a fit, able, willing parent is like the worst thing you can do. You don't need women and young girls without daddies, and then they end up on OnlyFans or they end up stripping in a club, and then we're blaming each other. You did it.
Yeah.
We don't need little boys hitting women or disrespectful or breaking the law. They need fathers to be protectors, providers, and give structure and discipline.
So what would you say if people, because with being in the court system these days, it don't work half the time. So honestly, it don't. It takes sometimes months and months and months. So, you know, you have these women that, you know, that they're raising these children, and you have fathers that are raising the children, and the mom's out doing drugs or doing whatever, and they're not in the children's lives, or either the dad's out doing whatever, and they're not in the children's lives, and they go to court. Okay, they go through the system. So, and then the court, like what you were just saying, you know, they call them a deadbeat if they don't, you know, pay, or they take a chance on losing their real estate license, or they go to jail or whatever because they don't do. How do you feel about the court system being involved? Should it be something dealt in the court, or should it be a mutual agreement off?
Well, this is one of the reasons why I advocate for this now and I do this podcast. I think that there's a lot of people have different opinions on it. One of the major issues that we have is that there's no jury trials. And it's decided by one person using not only law but discretion, which is their judgment, their own personal judgment. So if they're having a bad day or they don't like women, we wouldn't know this, but they could make a biased decision, which then affects the child. Going to court probably isn't the best option. I advocate for parents to go mediate outside, let family, friends, your church, your community, everybody but family court, because there's thousands and thousands of dollars. It does take years to get through.
But what if it's a problem? Like, I have a friend that lives out of state who I was very close to and dear to my heart. I know her very personally. The father is not involved. He does not want to get involved, and she has done everything she can to try to work it out with him without the courts. So she said she finally stepped in to go through the court system, and it's taken months and months and months, and it's not even working, so she just gave up. So she gets a little bit, but he's very rebellious to want to even be involved in the children. But anytime she asks, can you help with this or can you help with that? And he's like, I'm not going to help do anything. So, I mean, how do you...
So I want to bring this up, toxic masculinity or misogynist. You know, we have a group of men that we want to call alpha or the greater or the most desirable men.
Okay.
Those men spread their views on how to treat or handle these women.
Okay.
And so a lot of men will be considered what we call simps, or they're just buy a woman anything, do anything for a woman. They'll just hands down do anything.
Okay.
Take care of another man's child, things like that. So society, what social media came in is social media has actually put pressure on people to act a certain way or accordingly. And so anybody who goes against it or the norm looks bad. And I'm not saying all bad, but let's say the baby daddy is upset with that woman. She might have cheated on him. She might have left him. She's done. He's done too. A lot of men are just done. They're fed up. They're tired, and they're not going to go through it. They just don't want to go through it anymore.
Well, tell me what it is. Actually, let's take a pause for a moment for a commercial break, and we'll be right back because I want to ask a few more questions as we tap in, because you got a lot of stuff. I want to know what's going on with you, and then also why you advocate so much. Why are you advocating for families? And this is what we need. We need people advocating more for families instead of just throwing them away to the courts, you know,
we need both parents.
Yes.
You gotta have both
that
parents.
neutral. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. This is your girl, Robin Shockley, with Focus Forward Robin on the go. You never know where I'm going to be on the Voice of Vision and Truth podcast. It's a podcast to bring awareness and hope to the future for generations to come and even today. Y'all stay tuned. We'll be right back. Okay, you got it.
Hey guys, it's your boy Coach Amul P, right here at Amuls Vision on set. Thank you guys for joining me and finding me through Robin Shockley, right there, Focus Forward. So if y'all need information to find me, y'all can find it through Robin. And I hope that y'all stay tuned into both of our shows and our podcasts, because we care about you, your family, and your vision and your truth. Let us help share your story so that the world may connect with you, because we care about the solutions that make you better. I'm Coach Amul P, and I hope to see you right here at Amuls Vision sometime soon. Thank you, and I'll see you guys soon. Till then, stay focused with Robin. Yes.
Welcome back, everyone. This is your girl, Robin Shockley, with Focus Forward Robin on the go, because you never know where I'm going to be. On behalf of the Voice and Vision and Truth podcast, I have Coach Tony here in the room, Coach Amuls with me, Mr. Patel. He is in the room with me. We've been talking about his advocacy for parents. We've been talking about the court system. We've been talking about being a parent. We're talking about parents' involvement. But you know what? One of the questions I want to ask you, Tony, is, you know, I read your bio and I read your history and your involvement, and around the country you have been involved in the music industry, dealing with some celebrities and doing your DJing and being involved, and you were involved with the women, you were involved with the Lamborghinis and the sports cars, the houses, all this stuff. Why in the world, because you can still have a child, you know, why would you give all that up to focus in on your son?
That's a pretty good question right there. A lot of guys probably would argue with me about this, that I probably wouldn't leave the Ferrari behind or the Porsche Panamera or these endless women. But I guess it's a little deeper than that. What it really is like this, and maybe I can explain to some of the men, or the women might relate to this. women, when y'all get pregnant, y'all have 9 months to connect with your child. Y'all get to feel the heartbeat. Y'all get to go to sleep, feel the baby move. I mean, men may not, they may argue with me on this, but I feel like a lot of men don't connect with the child until it's born. When I first saw my kid, I was like, oh wow. I held him, I felt his warm body, and I just see myself. And I was like, man, this is my new life. I want him to be successful. I feel like I've already lived most of my dreams. I did get the cars, and it all started with something small, a dream that I had to paint cars. And as I became popular painting cars, I think later in my career I painted T.I.'s car, and that's what led me to end up becoming popular. And just like anything else, if you're high demand, your prices can go up. But there's no price on being a parent. So, I mean, just the weakest thing I can say that moment was when I seen the baby cry, and I was like, I gotta comfort it. And moms, y'all, like I said, y'all get to carry these babies. So being able to connect with your child for the first time as a man, I think it either opens your eyes, you're ready to be a parent and mature, or you're not ready for this. So a lot of women say this guy doesn't take care of the kid. A lot of men aren't mature enough to handle it.
You're exactly right. A lot of guys, I hear guys all the time, they're like, they have one child. They want to go have another baby and another baby. And it don't even have to be with the same woman.
Oh, yeah.
It's just they want to, because there's something that they're lacking in themselves, that they want that fulfillment to bring a child into the world. And I think that that's a selfish thing, honestly. I feel like if you want to bring a child into the world, it should be because you're ready and positioned to love that child, mature enough to invest in that child, not just to say you had a baby.
Yeah, and most people aren't going to admit that their child was conceived accidentally. And I don't want to say it in the wrong way, so y'all don't come shoot me and kill me about this, but you don't plan. Every single baby's not planned.
Exactly.
You could be
I wouldn't plan.
You can be in love and in the heat of the moment, or love a girl and be in that special moment wherever y'all are at. And I love you. I want to be with you forever. And y'all might lock arms and eyes and see eye to eye, but later on y'all might not. But you know, most kids aren't planned. So your life actually does change, or you don't want to change. And that goes to people with fighting addiction. A lot of people say, oh, well, you should just quit. Well, sometimes it's hard for these people to quit because their bodies became used to it. Yes. My lifestyle was used to do whatever I want, go wherever I want, do what I want to do. And today, I'm confined in a good way of being a parent and just making sure that your kid's okay.
I love it. And you know what? I watch you on social media, and I know that your son was with you, and you were like on cloud 9. It's like you were constantly posting, like, I get to see him soon. I get to see him soon. I get to see him soon.
Oh man, let me tell you, that's a high. Almost.
I know, and I love that. And
you
you know what? And to women, that is such a major turn on to know that the men are investing into their children because you're building a legacy for future generations. I want to know, what is it that you see in the future with your relationship with you and your son?
Well, I just want to be his protector, provider, and give him structure and discipline. Like, hey, listen, I can't always be there for you, but while I'm here, I'll give you all of me. So when you don't have me, just remember that I dedicated myself to you. So be passionate about whatever you want to be. If you want to be a doctor or a lawyer, and maybe some school isn't for all kids. You know, maybe he doesn't want to go to school and he wants to be an entrepreneur like his daddy. When I first started out as a DJ, I wasn't a good DJ. I never listened to rap music in my life. It was something I chased, and if I can show him I chased being a father, and that's what mattered to me. It didn't matter what anybody else said. I couldn't do it. You could, you know, I'm gonna be honest with you. 90% of men probably can't handle the baby 7 days. Yeah. And even in my advocacy, I tell a lot of fathers, like, hey, listen, do you have a babysitter? Can you cook? Do you clean? Do you work? How are you gonna balance your schedule? Before you talk to me about how and why you want full custody, because a lot of times it's just two parents just fighting to see who's gonna prove the better point.
Oh yeah.
And that's the problem with family court is, we can't be proving points. We actually got a co-parent, and I think that it's society, it's people that are watching this program or listening to your vision that will communicate to each other. Y'all got to be parents. Y'all got to get along. I every day strive to be a better parent, and when you're separated, you try to be a better co-parent. A lot of times you have a conflict, it ends up in court, you spend money, and y'all are just farther and farther apart.
Tell us a little bit about Amuls' vision. Tell us what that means, and I know that's part of what your name is. So, and of course, it's your vision. So, tell us a little bit about what that is and how people can get involved.
So, Amuls' vision, and it's actually Amul, but either way,
Amul,
you can call me Amul. Amuls' vision is actually started by Jessie Natoli out of New York. She was a member of the Father's Rights movement, and she knew that I was growing.
So, she was a female.
Yes,
that was part of the Father's Rights movement.
Yeah.
So there's no discrimination to gender.
No.
It's all about the purpose.
So a female started that page, and she said, if you ever lead the Father's Rights movement, I want to continue your vision. And I said, well, that sounds great. So we came up with a name, and I said, well, could you help me run it? And she said, yes, I'll run the whole thing. I'll operate it. I just need you to come on the podcast every week. And what you're going to be able to do is help people prevent suicides, get people awareness of parental alienation, and by doing so, you'll make a difference in at least one child's life.
Wow.
And throughout my advocacy, I've actually lost fathers, sadly. I've actually connected children with their parents. I've actually had baby mothers and fathers mediated out by talking to other people. I've actually been able to save marriages through this advocacy that was started by a woman who just asked me to make this 1 hour appearance. Now, every time I see this couple here in my hometown that came to me, sat down and said, help us with our marriage, I wake up and I'd say, I can't not do the show because there's another marriage that I could save, and maybe that's biblically right, this is society right. We got to start compromising and coming to a better relationship. You can't throw everything away.
I love this. Oh my God.
We throw so much stuff away, like even cars.
Yeah.
People get in a small wreck and they're like, oh, throw the car away, it's done. But if it's not totaled, you can fix it and keep driving and save money. You don't have to pay a car payment.
That's
you can have liability insurance.
That's right.
But a lot of
everything has a purpose. You know, everything has a purpose. Nothing is wasted. Don't let it go to waste.
Yeah, so the coach, Amul P, came out with Jessie and a few of the volunteers. And they're like, well, you're like a coach. You always coach us on these things, on how to make money, be an entrepreneur, how to better yourself. And so I guess it came together and we ran with it. And over the last years, as we gained these thousands of followers, it's became a thing where I basically coach people on making a better decision, a better life, and just take it from somebody who I was successful. So if you want to take advice from somebody who has and been there, then that's probably the best. A lot of times taking advice from a loser isn't the best outcome. They may be bitter why they lost. Sometimes you can learn a lot from people that lost, because all entrepreneurs have failed several times before, but they never quit trying. So one of the things that I learned is I started with 1 follower, and now we're reaching 1.2 million. You can't stop. You can't give up on your dreams, and just know that tomorrow's not promised.
You've taken your trials and made it a triumph. This is so amazing, and I am just so honored. Thanks to Mr. Vaughn for connecting us, which is pretty amazing. And I want to know, how can people get in touch with you if they want to connect with this movement, this page, whatever it is that you've got going, your podcast? Tell people how they can follow you.
First, you can start following this podcast, and it'll help you find people like me. It's not about my success, and I don't want any credit. I think that this credit belongs to you and God and the people that care about your children, our children. Yes. Your children are going to be interacting with those children out of broken homes as well. So if your family's perfect and you think this doesn't affect you, this will, and it can affect you. And this could be your child or someone else that you love's child, nephew, niece, uncle, sister, brother. So just think about everybody else and don't be selfish. You can start by watching this podcast. You can reach me at Amuls Vision on Facebook, and that's the best way. You can always inbox us if you need somebody to talk to about child custody, divorce, you need help, directions, all 50 states, and many other countries as well. But I will find that inbox because I comb through those. If I have insomnia, I take it to my advantage. If I see a problem, I'm going to go and solve it. That's what a boss or a manager's job is. The role of a supervisor, a boss, or a manager, just like yourself, is to solve problems. So my vision is to continue solving problems in our world. And in 2026, I'll be running for the House of Representatives here in South Carolina in District 37.
Okay, we'll see how that goes. All right, guys, this is your girl, Robin Shockley, with Focus Forward Robin on the go. You never know where I'm going to be. I'm here with the amazing guy right here, this Coach Tony.
And we love you, Robin.
We are here in his home today talking about supporting advocacy for fathers, for mothers, for families, to have that unity connect. And we don't see it often enough where we have the men rise up. So you are a prime example of a great leadership that is paving the way, being that trailblazer. So thank you so much for coming on my show today. I truly appreciate it.
I thank you, and I think your show is great. I think you're doing a wonderful job and continue to share other people's voices and their visions. And I think that this is a great platform for you guys to follow and grow with Robin. And you guys can follow us as well.
Yes. All right, guys. What do I always say? If you think a thing, you believe a thing. If you believe it, you will achieve it. This is your girl, Robin Shockley. Y'all be blessed.
And I'm Coach P. Till next time, we'll see you later. Gotcha.
Do you have a story to bring positive impact of change to the next generation or even this generation? Contact your girl Robin Shockley on all social media platforms to tell your story on the Voice of Vision and Truth podcast.